2 at NAB. I'm here with Mark Cruz from Nikon, and he's going to run us through some of the camera offerings and also the MRMC, motion control system.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know Nikon owns, so let's let's hit it. You said you wanted to start with the motion control.
Yeah, MRMC is a company that's part of the Nikon family of companies. It stands for Mark Roberts Motion Control, and they really have a suite of unique broadcast products that span robotic arms. So we have here sliders, PTZ rigs, an assortment of products. So that's what we're showcasing here, a lot of that at our booth here. We have virtual environments and volumes that you can use in news broadcasting, situations where you can use it in use cases for sports, and even just when we have an installation there called teleporting, where you can actually have two people side by side from completely different locations. So very cool, innovative technologies. They are part of the Nikon group of families, and they're also in synchronicity using some of the Nikon cameras on those rigs and jibs and arms, such as the Z9, which I have behind me. So we'll talk about this right now. We're also showcasing at the booth this year at NAB all of the powerful mirrorless formats from the Nikon Z system. This is now a full frame 45 megapixel 8K 60p internal RAW camera in the form of the Z9. They've come a long way since the D90 DSLR.
I used to own a D90. It was the first, I'm going to give Nikon credit, the first video, it was not the 5D Mark II, it was the D90. It's 720p, but it was the only camera that had true 24p.
That's right.
The 5D at the time did 30, so it was not cinematic.
Exactly.
24 was cinematic.
Talk about cinematic. These can do two formats of RAW internally. A lot of people don't know that. This has two formats of 12-bit NRAW, that's Nikon's proprietary NRAW file, but we also can shoot ProRes RAW internally. The benefits is that NRAW is about half the file size of ProRes RAW. So you can write those right to the memory card. No need for an external recording device. Plus, you have options to couple it with all types of exquisite Nikon glass.
I was gonna say this Noct is screaming at me.
This is probably the pinnacle of our optical excellence here. When we rewrote the mount with the Z system, it has the shortest flange distance, largest throw diameter. So our engineers were just bustling with excitement when they knew that they could design lenses for this mount.
Right.
The Noct basically is the closest we can get to perfection. This is a 0.95 aperture manual focus lens, 58 millimeter. And great cinematic quality, and you couple that with the dynamic range that you can get out of this with these internal RAW formats. It's excellent. We're over here, we're showcasing a workflow that we put together with some of the Red engineers to perfect and just how to get the best out of, the speaker's in the way, just how to get the best out of our RAW files using DaVinci Resolve. So DaVinci Resolve as well as Grass Valley EDS are the two editing suites right now that are compatible with NRAW.
Yeah.
Also behind me is the Z8. The Z8 is basically the sister of the Z9. Same technology, same processor, same chip, but it is smaller format. Great for gimbals, great for hand holding, and just great for overall space and weight savings. So powerful. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing I want to mention. I interviewed Oren Soffer on my podcast, and for everyone who freaked out about the creator being shot on the it's FX3. FX3.
Oh.
There are a bunch of clips, not a bunch, a handful of clips in that movie that were shot on a Z6. Because it was part of Gareth Edwards' test thing. We took a Z6 out.
Right.
And they just used those clips.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. It's still...
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're still showcasing the Z6 II here. Back in the Z6 and Z6 II, we were required an external HDMI to shoot to RAW. Now we can do that all internally. So that's the exciting part. We also have the new ZF camera here that we're showcasing.
Yeah.
It's retro inspired. I just happen to have one right here that I can show you. And
it's so pretty. I have an F2.
Yes,
still.
It's modeled after a more heritage design, FM style. And the great thing about it is for video, you can shoot 10-bit internal and log to this. So it's kind of pretty still powerful for video. Plus it has a front flip screen, all the tactile dials on here for ISO, shutter speed, exposure compensation. and you can see the knurling on the retro-inspired lenses that we have for this format.
Oh, that's not a... So my secret sauce as a cinematographer is I still, because I have that F2, I still have a bunch of Nikon primes that are like, I bought from Japan, so they're pristine, you know? And that makes all the footage look just a little... But I was about to say, oh, you got a cool... But that's...
This is native Z, so you don't need the adapter. So the great thing that you mentioned is you can use hundreds of different Nikon lenses with the new Z format with the adapter. This is a native Z lens taking advantage of that small flange distance. And you'll see right in there as well, this is a full frame camera, around 24 megapixels, so it can give you an exquisite 4K video. Now, maybe we'll dovetail into the other component that's here in the booth today. So I'm wearing a t-shirt right now that has 3 logos on it. That's Nikon, MRMC, and now starting this year, Red.
Right.
As of a couple of days ago, Red is now a wholly owned subsidiary of the Nikon group of companies. And what this means is exciting news for users of Red products going into the future. We are learning quite a bit about the high-end cinema business through Red, and that really led to this acquisition, in that we found that the goals of Red and the goals of Nikon are quite similar, and we found that their products are essential for us to fulfill our goals into exploring and expanding the market of high-end cinema. So what we can look forward to in the future is these two companies basically combining our core competencies in the form of Red. It is their high-end cinema codecs, their global shutters, and their know-how in the form of their Komodo, as well as their now new V-Raptor X and XL, and combining that with Nikon's know-how of optical excellence, our processor technology, as well as our user interface design. This is going to create some interesting products in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I've always loved about it, I know we were talking off camera about how my D90 still actually is pretty rad, but the 810 is still incredible, the 850, whatever, these older DSLRs. So something I'm kind of excited to see, I don't know if what you can talk about, but is just to see Red iterated without you guys, perhaps too fast for certain people, where the new camera would come out once a year, like an iPhone. Is there a plan to kind of slow that down, or are you going to keep that speed up? Is there any mount changes as well?
I'll tell you, the ink just dried as of a couple of days ago. The only thing we can say right now is we're in the modem studying and learning about the business. We want to keep Red right now and make sure that their business goes uninterrupted. The Red brand will remain Red. To all the customers looking at service and support, those channels will remain the same. Because people...
better because it's, Nikon's a much bigger company.
Well, Red has a devout following. They have a lot of industry respect, and we want to ensure to their user base that we'll continue to support, but in the future expand their reach.
Are we, I know, people are just going to be mad if I don't ask 3 things. One, are we going to see Red Raw in mirrorless bodies?
Well, we're going to continue to study their raw codecs, but there's the potential of us infusing that technology into consumer and mirrorless cameras in the future. But we're still studying that right now. It'll take years to develop such products.
Yeah, and then the follow-up, again, I know what your answer is going to be, but I have to ask it. Putting a Z mount on Red bodies going forward.
Yes. Right now we're really focused. Well, we are investigating the Nikkor lenses in the future, but right now we are going to maintain the RF mount on the Raptor, and those, of course, the PL mount on those cameras.
Yeah. I would be perfectly happy with it switching to Z mount. I know a lot of online discourse make this a little nervous, but as you said earlier, it's the shortest flange distance, I think, of any mount, correct?
It is.
So you can still put your RF, if someone made an adapter for it, you could still do it,
Right.
So I'm not, that would be good by me. I don't know. I'm not the voice of everyone, but
we're evaluating all the options right now and just seeing how that industry is really going to be shaped, because they have a powerful user base, and we want to make sure that that culture maintains, and look at the Nikon culture and fuse them together.
Yeah, and just kind of anecdotally, like, how's the response been here at NAB? I know it's only day 2, but
very positive. A lot of people are excited, and I myself, just talking to the Red staff, are really excited. They have a lot of enthusiastic, professional, and very creative people at Red, and I think that's at the core of the success of their company, is their people.
Yeah.
Similarly at Nikon, and as well as MRMC. So under this banner of these 3 companies, you're going to experience a lot of know-how here at NAB 2024. So it's a great place for people to learn.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for chatting with me, man. I'm very excited for the program.
My pleasure.